I just finished reading the King James Only Controversy, and I wanted to talk about it. I expected this book to be anti-King James and to sort of be a tell-all about the reasons this book is corrupt and the reasons we should trust our modern translations better. Now, this is not at all what this book was. So the first chapter of this book really just goes into what this controversy is even about the groups that do feel that the King James only is superior and why they feel that way. And then it goes into the history of translations, and it goes into the Latin translation of the Septuagint, which was the Vulgate, and how that was deemed evil for a while, and then it became the trusted version and everybody's Bible. And eventually all the different translations came about, and how each one was sort of not taken very lightly amongst the Christians at that time. This King James controversy isn't much different. Now, as you get further into the book, in chapter 2, I believe, where it says you're starting at the beginning, it goes into what the disputes are. A little further down, it goes into how these differences can come to be, again, pointing back to the original text, translational differences, and even doing side-by-side comparisons between King James translation and modern translations, right there with the original Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic, and what those words mean. I've never read the King James Version. I have read the Christian Standard Bible, the CSB, the New English Translation, the NET, and I'm currently reading the English Standard Version, which is the ESV. Now, I do intend on reading the King James at some point in the future, and this has given me a little more information to go off of as to why some of those changes have been made and what to look for in terms of things being different. I still fully believe that the best translation is the translation you're going to read, and that you should not put all of your faith in one single translation, because there are going to be translational differences. Some translators of certain Bibles used the oldest manuscripts, while some translators used the most common manuscript. So there's going to be a little different textual variations. There's going to be human error when those translations were made or when those copies were made, but it even talks about that. It talks about the original language and how where one translation might be different from the other, it could be because there was one line on the translation or on the manuscript that changed that word from this word to another, and sort of back up that it's not this grand conspiracy that the modern translations are actually against Christ or trying to take away the deity of Christ, or whatever that argument may be. In a nutshell, with every translation, you're going to have to take it with a prayer for discernment and reference more than one. Don't depend on one translation. Don't depend on man in general. So what I still plan on doing, and what I recommend to everybody else, is, get a translation that you're willing to read. Start with that, and then compare translations. Take a passage that you're interested in, pull up an app that will compare different translations, or buy translations and compare those passages and try to get a better understanding that way. Because most of the time, the meaning is the same between each translation. It's just going to be worded slightly different to make better sense to the reader. Well, it is absolutely possible to have your Bible dictionary out and compare and look everything up. But sometimes, especially if you're a new Christian, that's going to be a little daunting to have to do. So I fully support modern translations, and I'm going to keep reading them. And I'm also going to go back and I'm going to probably read the King James as well, and be able to appreciate the beauty of the language and the verbiage that was used back in the day.